Prepare yourself. It's time for another awful, spooky wrestling moment. Watch if you dare.
It is finally time to talk about the Dungeon of Doom in WCW, and I'm particularly excited because nothing sums up the perfect blend between wrestling and Halloween quite like Kevin Sullivan and his mates. Let's face it, and this might be hard to accept because Halloween's only a few days away now, but Halloween's really not that scary. It's, you know, it's kids in masks. It's giving out candy to strangers in a friendly way. It's, you know, getting drunk as a teenager and going to a fancy dress Halloween house party and trying to kiss Sarah, but you kind of misjudge the situation because you're both drunk and you've both got face paint on, and Sarah, you think she's keen for it, but she doesn't really want to kiss you, and then you lean in and then she's like, no, and then you're like, oh my God, she doesn't actually want to, and then you go into another room and get another drink and then you wish you were dead. In this way, the Dungeon of Doom are probably the perfect representation in wrestling of Halloween. They're not scary, they're just a bit fucking shit. Now let's recap the members. First we have the Master, a big fat guy in face paint who hangs out in smoky rooms and gives very vague advice, kind of like Bray Wyatt, but unable to wrestle. Then we have the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, a member of WCW's booking team of course, and an evil ass man. We can tell he's evil because he snarls a lot and kind of goes like, kind of doesn't. Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster. Why was Kevin Sullivan evil again? Then we have the Giant, of course, aka Big Show, who was billed as the Giant at the time and was also billed as Andre the Giant's son. This led to a particularly funny aspect of a very serious feud between the Giant and Hulk Hogan, where Giant tore off a plain white t-shirt, threw it at Hogan and went, yeah, you remember that t-shirt, don't you? And Hogan's like, oh, it's his dad's t-shirt, it's Andre's shirt. How the f would you know that? How would you know that was the same t-shirt? I love WCW, love it. The Giant's shining moment in the Dungeon of Doom came when, as previously mentioned in this very countdown, he lost a monster truck match to Hulk Hogan on top of an arena near the arena that the wrestling was in. Yeah. We also have Earthquake, who was rebranded as the Shark, and we had British wrestling legend Giant Haystacks, who was rebranded as Loch Ness. Not really sure what the Dungeon of Doom's obsession with nautical themes was, but it certainly is delightful, lads. Oh, now we come on to my second favourite member of the Dungeon of Doom, the Zodiac, aka WWF's Brutus Beefcake. The Zodiac came to WCW and turned heel. He was Brutus Beefcake's heel persona. He painted his face black and white and decided to speak only in monosyllables. But then it turned out he wasn't evil at all. He was a double agent sent by Hogan to be a mole inside the Dungeon of Doom, but he was still a good guy all along. He was babyface. So then when he was finally released from the Dungeon of Doom and back to his babyface self, he reverted to his true babyface persona, the Booty Man. The Booty Man really loves booty, just like an OG Billy Gunn. Booty Man. Put all these figures together and what have you got? You've got one of the worst, most cartoonish, most awful stables, not just of the mid-90s, but in wrestling history, and they make for some of the best, worst wrestling you could possibly hope to see, if that makes sense. I urge you to check them out on the WWE Network. There is one further member of the Dungeon of Doom that I've forgotten to mention, and it's my favourite one of all. It's the... I'm afraid that's another story for another time. Tune in a couple of days for my full explanation of why this particular superstar, or WCW star, is my favourite of all time. But for now, that's all the time we've got today on Awful Spooky Wrestling Moments. Tune in tomorrow for another, and I'll see you soon.